Hi, I'm the Solidworks nerd, coming back to you with a prank that you can do within any version of Solidworks. So let's get started, but if you want to see the finished prank, I'll put the time code down here at the bottom. So I'm going to start file new. You can select any template you'd like. It's going to be a part template, that is. I'm going to start a sketch on the top plane. Get myself a rectangle, and I'd like to get myself a center rectangle. Specify dimension, so it's going to be 1 millimeter, and set those legs to be equal, just like that. Exit my sketch, and I'm going to go specify an extrusion of 1 millimeter. So now we have a tiny cube. So I'm just going to hide that part origin so it's out of our way. But what I'm going to do now, add a center of mass, and these guys are pretty interesting, as you'll see in a second here. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is I want to refer to the center of mass, but I can't do it directly. So the way I'm going to do it is by starting a 3D sketch, grabbing your point tool, and throw your point out somewhere in space. Hit the escape key, grab your point, and stick it right to your center of mass. So now you have a coincidence between the center of mass and that point. That's all you need. Alright, so far so good. So I'm going to go get a new plane, so I'm going to copy one from the right plane, and I'm going to set it coincident to that point, that 3D sketch point. So you can see point 1 at 3D sketch 1. Hit OK, and now what we're going to do is surface cut. So I'm going to search for it here. Surface cut. There we go. Cut with surface. So remember, with this tool, you can pick a plane or a surface. The direction of the arrow shows which side is going to be eaten, pretty much. That's good enough for me. So our cut is complete. But you notice something kind of weird. That point, that is a 3D sketch point that we originally put coincident to the center of mass. But of course, since we cut the part in half, the center of mass moved. This leads to a pretty interesting phenomenon right now. So let me go ahead and center this part up. So I'm going to go hit Control Q on my keyboard here, and let's see what happens. So you could see that when it rebuilds, so remember, Control Q is full rebuild. So it starts at the top of the tree and rebuilds all these features. So it starts at the center of mass, extrudes that boss, solves that 3D sketch. So at this point, it realizes, oh, they're not in the same place. Let me move that to the proper place. And since the plane is stuck to that point, SolidWorks says, we got to move that plane too. And of course, it then just completes the cut. So that means if I keep hitting Control Q, so I'm going to do it now, again, it just keeps getting thinner. So already this is a pretty weird part, and that's what we want. We want a part that's interesting enough that we can get our victim to repeatedly press Control Q. So I'm going to keep pressing Control Q, and we'll see in a minute here, it errored out. SolidWorks reached its tolerance, and the part broke. So if I hit close, you can see that we're back to the same state, and we can do it again. And there's our rebuild error again. And take note of the sound that it made. It can get pretty annoying after a while. So here comes the second phase of the prank, customizing that sound. So did you know you can actually customize those sounds? So what do you want to do? Go to your options, and in general, configure sounds. And you'll have this window that pops up. Scroll down, and you should find SolidWorks. There it is. So here you can change all the sounds that SolidWorks makes. So you could see rebuild error. All right, that's if I test it, it comes up with that familiar error. So we can browse for a new one. So you can see there's all of the WAV files that come with SolidWorks. So you have to note, when you put your custom sound file, it needs to be a WAV file. So let me go find my custom WAV file. There it is. Hit open. And don't mind the title, we'll just leave it like that. And now, so here's the prank. You will go get your victim and you will say, you know, hey, look at this part. It acts really weird when I hit Control Q for full rebuild. And then you'll demonstrate, and then you'll keep pressing it, and then, you know, it'll look pretty interesting. It's like, yeah, why didn't you try it for yourself? Or, I mean, maybe they'll just be interested enough to try it on their own. You know, they're trying to study the part. And you know, wow, that part's getting pretty thin there. And the idea is that they'll get so focused that eventually... that will happen. So you can put whatever sound you want in there. So you know, I've given you some ideas with my particular selection. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You just show them a weird part and a guy screams in your face. So I hope you enjoy that. Hopefully have some fun with this. This has been the Solidworks Nerd, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.